Have you ever wondered how you would procure food in a post-disaster scenario? It's a question that has likely crossed your mind, especially given the unpredictable nature of our world. The aftermath of a disaster can be daunting, and food procurement becomes a pressing issue. You see, in a post-disaster environment, supermarkets and restaurants are no longer reliable food sources. Instead, we need to turn to more primitive methods our ancestors used to survive. We're talking about preparation, foraging, hunting, fishing, trading and bartering, and even urban scavenging. These are the key strategies we'll delve into throughout this video. Understanding food procurement after a disaster isn't just about survival, it's about thriving in difficult circumstances. It's about being resilient and adaptable, ensuring that you and your loved ones never go hungry no matter what life throws at you. So join us as we explore these practical strategies. This video will give you practical strategies to ensure you never go hungry when the unexpected happens. Before we continue, take a few moments to like and subscribe so you can stay up to date and click the bell icon to be notified when new content is released. As always, comment your input to help the wider prepping community. If you have done this, we thank you for your support. Now back to the video. Preparation remains the best strategy in any survival situation. In the wake of a disaster, the grocery store shelves empty in the blink of an eye, and the delivery trucks may not come for a long time, if at all. The question then becomes, how will you feed yourself and your loved ones? The answer lies in preparation. Having a well-stocked pantry is not just about being ready for a surprise visit from the in-laws. It's about ensuring that you have enough food to sustain you in times of crisis. Now, what should this stockpile look like? The first rule of thumb is to focus on foods with a long shelf life. You want items that can sit on your shelf for months, even years, and still be safe to eat. Think canned goods, dried fruits and vegetables, and grains like rice or quinoa. These foods are not only durable, but also versatile, allowing you to create a variety of meals to stave off palate fatigue. Next, consider high-calorie foods. In a survival situation, you're likely to be expending more energy than usual, whether that's from manual labor, exposure to the elements, or simply the stress of the situation. Foods high in calories, particularly healthy fats and proteins, can keep you fueled and focused. Nuts, seeds, peanut butter, and canned meats are all excellent choices. However, having a stockpile isn't enough. You also need to understand the concept of rationing. It's easy to panic and consume too much too quickly, but this can leave you without supplies when you need them most. Instead, consider your daily caloric needs and plan your meals accordingly. Remember, the goal is not just to survive, but to thrive. The importance of preparation goes beyond just having food. It's about having the peace of mind that comes with knowing that, no matter what happens, you have the resources to take care of yourself and your loved ones. Remember, a well-prepared pantry can be your lifeline in the aftermath of a disaster. When supplies run low, nature can provide us with sustenance. When our pantries are empty and the supermarkets are no more, we must look to the great outdoors to keep us fed. Foraging for food is an ancient practice, one that our ancestors relied upon for survival. Now, foraging isn't as simple as picking up whatever you find on the ground. It requires a keen eye, an understanding of the environment, and most importantly, knowledge of what's safe to eat. So, let's get into the basics of foraging. First off, we need to know what we're looking for. Edible plants are a prime source of sustenance. They are plentiful, renewable, and can offer a surprising amount of nutrition. For example, dandelions, a common weed in many parts of the world, are entirely edible, from their bright yellow flowers down to their long taproots. But remember, not every plant is your friend. Some can be harmful, even deadly. This is where knowledge of local flora becomes essential. Knowing the difference between a harmless berry and a poisonous one can save your life. Insects, too, can be a valuable source of food. They're high in protein and quite abundant. Again, however, caution is needed. While most insects are safe to eat, some species can be poisonous. Always ensure that you know what you're eating before you take a bite. The risks of foraging are real, but they can be mitigated. A good field guide can be an invaluable tool, helping you identify edible species and steer clear of the harmful ones. And remember, when in doubt, it's best to play it safe. Don't eat anything unless you're absolutely certain it's safe. If you're prepared and informed, foraging can provide you with a steady source of food. It's not about luck or chance, but about knowledge and attention to detail. In survival situations, knowledge of local flora and fauna can be the difference between life and death. So, equip yourself with the right knowledge and let nature provide you with the sustenance you need. If you find yourself in a wilderness setting, hunting and fishing can provide a steady food source. In the wake of a disaster, these age-old practices could be the difference between life and death. Let's delve into the essentials of hunting and fishing to enhance your chances of survival. Firstly, understanding your prey is crucial. Familiarize yourself with the habits and habitats of animals in your area. For instance, deer are dawn and dusk creatures, often found near water sources. Small game like rabbits or squirrels are active during daylight, and they're a good source of protein too. Now, on to fishing. Fish are a reliable food source and can be caught in various ways. The simplest is hand fishing or noodling, though it requires patience and a good deal of daring. Alternatively, you can use a spear or make a simple rod with a line and hook. Remember to be mindful of local aquatic life patterns, such as spawning seasons and feeding times. Once you've secured your catch, it's essential to preserve the meat properly. If you're unable to consume the meat immediately, smoking or curing it can help prolong its shelf life. Both methods require time and care, but they can provide you with a stockpile of food that can last for weeks, even months. However, it's important to note that these practices have legal implications in non-emergency situations. Hunting and fishing are regulated activities, often requiring permits or licenses. These laws are in place to protect wildlife populations and ensure sustainable practices. Always respect these regulations and only resort to survival hunting and fishing in true emergencies if you wish to comply with the legal system. Regardless, respect for our native fauna is of utmost importance. Lastly, practice makes perfect. Hunting and fishing are skills that take time to develop. Start honing these skills now, so you're ready when the need arises. Remember, in the face of adversity, it's not just about surviving, but thriving. Mastering these skills can ensure a steady supply of protein to keep you going. After all, survival is not just about enduring, it's about living well, even in the toughest of times. In a post-disaster community, trading and bartering can become the new currency. Let's delve into this a bit. When normal economic systems fall apart, we return to one of the oldest forms of commerce known to humankind, the barter system. In this system, goods and services are exchanged directly for other goods and services. This means you can trade a jar of homemade jam for a pair of sturdy boots, or a handful of fresh-caught fish for a warm blanket. But remember, it's not just about food. Anything of value can be bartered. Think of practical items like tools, medical supplies, clothing, and even knowledge or skills. But how do we ensure fair trade? Well, it's all about negotiation and perceived value. What's valuable to you might not be valuable to others, and vice versa. It's crucial to understand this dynamic to negotiate effectively. Let's say you have a surplus of canned goods, but you're in dire need of fresh water. You find someone with a water purification system, but they don't need canned food. Instead, they need firewood. Now, you have to find someone who needs your canned goods and has firewood to trade. It's a bit like a puzzle, isn't it? However, where there is commerce, there will always be risks. In a post-disaster world, these risks could range from dishonest traders to potential raiders. It's important to approach every trade with caution and trust your instincts. Remember to maintain a strong community spirit, help others when you can, and build relationships. This not only strengthens your community, but it also increases your trading options and personal safety. In essence, trading and bartering are not just about exchanging goods. It's about using your skills and resources to build relationships, negotiate deals, and ultimately survive. In the absence of traditional commerce, your abilities to negotiate and barter can fill your belly. After mastering the art of bartering, and before diving into urban scavenging, it's important to consider a more sustainable long-term solution for food: gardening. In a post-disaster scenario, growing your own food can be a game changer. Now, you might be thinking, I don't have a green thumb. or I've never grown anything before. Don't worry, we're here to guide you. Gardening doesn't have to be complicated. It all starts with understanding the basics: soil, water, and sunlight. Different plants have different needs, so it's crucial to know what your chosen crops require. Next, choosing the right crops is key. Focus on hardy, high-yield plants that can withstand fluctuations in weather and are resistant to pests. Think potatoes, beans, squash, and tomatoes. Now let's talk about composting. Composting is a way to recycle organic material like vegetable scraps, leaves, and grass clippings into nutrient-rich soil. This not only reduces waste, but also provides your garden with the nutrients it needs to thrive. With a little effort and patience, your garden can become a reliable food source. Remember, in a world where the supermarket shelves may be empty, being able to grow your own food is not just empowering, it's a lifesaver. So grab those gardening gloves and let's get growing. Urban environments can also offer opportunities for food procurement. Now let's imagine a cityscape. It's not just concrete and steel, it's a pantry waiting to be discovered. The key to urban scavenging is to know where to look and how to do it safely. Abandoned supermarkets, restaurants, and homes can be gold mines. However, remember that other survivors might have the same idea, so always be cautious of potential competition. Now let's talk about ethics. Always consider the potential owners of the resources you find. Taking what you need is one thing, hoarding or stealing from others is another. Survival doesn't mean abandoning our humanity. Finally, remember that safety is paramount. Before entering any building, ensure its structural integrity. Avoid areas with obvious signs of contamination or disease, and always be prepared for unexpected encounters. In a city-turned-jungle, your wits are your best tool for survival. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment other ways you believe are effective ways to ensure food security in a post-SHTF scenario.